All right, let's dive into one of the biggest challenges in tech today. How do you move incredibly fast, innovate and ship new things without breaking everything for the customers who depend on you? We're going to talk about something called site reliability engineering, or SRE. Think of it as the secret sauce for balancing that critical need for speed with the absolute necessity of stability.
So, does this sound familiar? You've got one team, let's say development, and their whole job is to build and ship awesome new features. Then you have another team, operations, whose job is to keep the lights on and make sure nothing breaks. It's this classic tug of war, a story that's probably as old as software itself. And honestly, it's a conflict that just leads to frustration, burnout, and ultimately unhappy users.
And this quote, wow, it just hits the nail on the head, doesn't it? I'm sure you've been there. You're looking at your dashboards, everything is a sea of green check marks. All systems go, but support tickets are flooding in. Customers are complaining. This is that terrifying gap between what your systems are telling you and what your users are actually feeling. Okay, so this friction, it's not just a personality clash. It's a real structural problem. Let's call it the dev versus ops wall. It's this invisible but very real barrier that's built right into the way a lot of companies are set up. And it's a huge, huge roadblock to getting anything done well. And you can see the problem crystal clear right here. The dev team, they're incentivized for speed. Ship features, move fast. The ops team, they're incentivized for the exact opposite, stability. Prevent outages at all cost. This creates that classic scenario where developers just throw their code over the wall for ops to deal with. Nobody's really working together towards the same goal. And this isn't just a theory. Look at this story from an online retailer. The ops team noticed this tiny bug. Payment confirmation times were getting just a little bit slower every day. But the business side was pushing the dev team for more and more features. The result? A total nightmare. The developers were burning out, working insane hours, trying to fix the bug and ship the new features. And the craziest part? The product team had no idea how serious the bug even was. It's just a perfect storm caused by these communication silos.
So what's the fix? Well, it's not a new piece of software. It's a total shifting culture, a new philosophy called DevOps. And its entire mission is to just completely tear down that wall between the teams.
And DevOps is really built on these 5 core ideas. First, you've got to get rid of the silos and get people talking. Second, and this is a big one, you have to accept that failure is going to happen. Third, you make small, gradual changes instead of huge, risky ones. Fourth, you automate everything you possibly can. And last, you measure everything so you're making decisions based on data, not just gut feelings. But here's the thing about DevOps. It's more like a constitution than a detailed legal code. It tells you what you should believe in, things like collaboration and automation, but it doesn't give you a step-by-step playbook on how to actually do it day to day. And that, my friends, is where site reliability engineering comes in. You can think of SRE as the super practical, opinionated way to actually do DevOps. It's the how that was missing. It's the set of specific practices that turns all those great philosophical ideas into real engineering work. What's really interesting is that SRE grew up at Google completely separate from the whole DevOps movement. It all started back in 2003. An engineering lead named Ben Trainor-Sloss basically told his team of software engineers, hey, you built this thing, now you're going to run it in production. By making the engineers responsible for the operational pain of their own code, he created this incredibly powerful feedback loop. And that was the birth of SRE. So the relationship is super simple when you look at it this way. DevOps is the philosophy. It's the what we believe in. SRE is the practice. It's the how we actually do it. One's the what, the other is the how. Okay, so let's get into the good stuff. What are the actual tools in the SRE toolkit? How does this all work in practice to finally solve that old dev versus ops fight? This is where the rubber meets the road. Everything, and I mean everything, in SRE starts by answering one question. What does reliable enough actually mean? An SLO, or service level objective, forces everyone, product, developers, operations, everyone, to agree on a single, precise number for reliability. It's your official line in the sand between a happy customer and an unhappy one. Now, a huge mindset shift with SRE is that shooting for 100% reliability is actually the wrong goal. It's way too expensive and it kills your ability to innovate. So instead, you pick a realistic target, something like 99.9%, or 3 nines. That means you're agreeing that the service can be down for about 43 minutes a month. It's a realistic target that keeps users happy, but gives you room to breathe. Okay, get ready because this next concept is the real game changer. It flips the entire conversation upside down. If your reliability goal, your SLO, is 99.9%, then that leftover 0.1% becomes your error budget. And it's not a measure of failure. It's the amount of unreliability that you have all mutually agreed is perfectly acceptable.
And here is where the magic happens. That 0.1% isn't a bad thing to be avoided. It's a resource to be spent. Teams can consciously choose to spend their error budget on a risky new feature release or a planned maintenance window. If an unexpected outage happens, well, that just spends some of the budget. And if the budget runs out for the month, all new feature releases freeze. The team's entire focus shifts to improving reliability. It's this beautiful, self-regulating system that balances risk and speed using data, not arguments. And this brings us to another core SRE belief. Failure is normal. It's going to happen. In any complex system, things are going to break. The goal isn't to prevent every single failure. That's impossible. The goal is to recover fast and, more importantly, to learn something valuable from every single incident.
And the number one tool for learning is the blameless postmortem. After something goes wrong, the team gets together. But the question isn't who messed up. The question is, what parts of our system, what parts of our process let this happen? By focusing on the system and not the person, you build this incredible culture of psychological safety. People feel safe to be honest about mistakes, which is the only way you can truly learn from them.
All right, so we've looked at the problem, the philosophy, and the toolkit. What's the bottom line? What's the big payoff when a company really goes all in on an SRE culture? Honestly, the transformation is it's night and day. You go from having these siloed teams with conflicting goals to having everyone share ownership of reliability. You stop making decisions based on fear or who shouts the loudest and start making them based on cold, hard data from your SLOs. The work itself changes from constant, stressful firefighting to proactive engineering. You go from burnout to empowerment. And the end result is this amazing win-win-win. Your teams are happier because they have clear, shared goals. You can actually innovate faster because you have a smart, data-driven way to manage risk. And of course, your services become way more reliable, which means your customers are happier too. So, I'll leave you with this question to think about. Where in your own organization is there that tension between speed and stability? And how could a simple, data-driven concept like an error budget completely change those tense arguments into productive, collaborative conversations? That's the real power of SRE.